You are listening to the Educated Podcast.
This is the Educated Apes Podcast. We do a podcast about absolutely jack shit. If you haven't heard us before, then please see previous episodes.
Where we talk about jack shit.
But yeah, get in here. How's it going? I say that every time.
Good.
Did everyone watch the?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Everyone watched the UFC, all the happenings.
Yeah.
I wanted him to open up with the Darren Till Cerrone thing, because I knew that Batch did not think that was going to happen, and I'm very, very keen to see what he says.
I'm claiming I was the first one to call it on the group chat.
Whoa, go on.
I didn't say he was going to win, but I said that's a dangerous fight.
Yeah, but
an ex-lightweight fighting an ex-middleweight.
Any fight's a dangerous fight, but it was very it was a surprise to most of the MMA world.
Yeah, purely because they don't know him.
Except the bookies. The bookies had it quite short, which was very.
I reckon that changed. You know, once people started getting wind, they seen who he was fighting, did the research, and then people started betting on Till. The odds have probably changed by the time it got to the fight.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, the bookies done well though with it. Normally they they used to at least, overshoot these by miles.
Yeah, because they knew jack shit.
Yeah, people with like a little bit of inside knowledge used to make killing, I imagine, on MMA. Yeah. The odds used to win. Even when I first started gambling, the odds used to be ridiculous. I got John Jones at 5-1 to beat Shogun.
Whoa.
When he won the title. Because he'd been on a tear through nobodies. And like, nobody was really on it. Betting had only been on like online for MMA on Bet365 for about a month or so when it happened, and at 5-1 I got John Jones. I had him in an accumulator and won like 250 quid off that night. Like, and people that know but actually don't mind spending money on gambling. Like, I don't like putting more than a $5 on anything.
No,
but people who actually like betting would have made a killing,
shifting some cash.
It
was an amazing. The whole build up, the way that he was very confident. What do you think of him as a character, Darren?
Well, he's quite cool. He seems.
I think he handled himself really well, didn't he?
He was very sort of like, he's very, I know we seem to circle around to motivation. Very self motivating. Like, he wasn't, even after the fight, he wasn't talking about, I don't know how. Like he said, someone mentioned Bisping in his upcoming fight, and he said like, "Oh, he doesn't inspire me. Like, I respect him as a fighter, but nobody inspires me. I'm very sort of like, I believe in myself, and that's it. Sort of mindset."
I heard him shouting about how he was going to be the greatest fighter of all time.
No, he said he was. He said he is the greatest fighter on the planet. Were his words.
Oh yeah,
he believes he's the greatest fighter on the planet.
Do you think that Scouse aspect is, I don't know, bewildering to Americans?
I can't understand the fucking word.
They haven't got a clue what is going on when he starts shouting.
How many broadcasters do you think had subtitles for the majority of his interviews? They said that
at least Dan Hardy speaks English and that he can translate.
What is sort of an interim between Scouse and the American?
Like that scene on Hot Fuzz, where they're out in the countryside.
I'll show you.
And then the guy half translates it again, and then it finally gets round to him.
Yarp.
Yeah.
Narp.
It's a lot of ways to speak one language. The whole fight, though, do you think Cerrone didn't show up?
No.
Or he's inherently a slow starter. That's what we always hear about Cerrone. He needs to get punched a bit. He needs... Do you know what I mean? Even that Lawler fight where Lawler just went hell. I know Lawler really took it to him, but he didn't come back until the second round.
No.
So do you feel like he needed maybe just to survive some of that, do you know what I mean, in and outs?
There's an argument that he's still as active as he was 5 years ago. He had that break after the Masvidal beating, but then had a war with Lawler.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that long ago.
No.
At all. And he's not of the age where he can just keep going in and in and in and in with these wars. I mean, he stopped sparring, but he still went in for a fucking 3-round. It was 5
It was main event, so it would have been 5
if
had it gone.
Had it gone, but Lawler was a 3-round, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
He's been through a war.
So you think he's just taken way too much?
He can't fight like he could in his younger days. Ability wise, yeah, but he can't just keep having these wars so many times a year. if he'd have had a longer break, he'd probably look like a different fighter. But Darren Till still could well have beaten him because he's finished him that early. Because like I said, it does take him longer to get into the fight.
I thought Darren Till looked brilliant though. I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
sort of performance.
Confident considering he's fighting a legend.
Yeah, see, I went back and after I proclaimed that it was going to be no problem for Cerrone, and I did that just based on Cerrone. Really, I knew who Darren Till was, but I didn't know a lot about him. I was just basing it on the fact that I knew what Cerrone was about. I thought some upstart isn't coming in and smashing him. Went back and watched him, and like I think watching him from his other fights, and then watching that Cerrone fight, he looks a different level again.
Yeah,
from his other fights, it was like a proper coming out party for him.
Oh yeah,
like he turned up and he almost Conor McGregor did it a bit, where he used to just like where he believes in himself that much that he just raises his own level.
Yeah,
like he stepped up to the bigger challenge. He said what he was going to do and he went and did it in a way that you just didn't see happening. And now people will be saying, "Oh, it's a flash in the pan. Cerrone wasn't this." Let's see if he does it again. If he does it again, you might have a superstar on your hands. No,
it's something that like him himself and the people around him need to harness. I think it's very animatic. His whole story of how he was having trouble at home in Liverpool, and he got, I think he either got his life threatened or he might have got stabbed. I'm not too sure of the ins and outs of it.
I think he did get stabbed.
Yeah. And his trainer sent him to Brazil, which was initially meant to be for 6 months, and he then ended up getting some girl pregnant or something, and ended up staying there in Brazil for an untold amount of time, like learning refining his stand up and whatnot, to then come back to Liverpool. I think he's done like a year or so, or maybe under a year in Liverpool, and like that whole sort of story of like him to where he is now is quite a nice backstory for him to sort of project himself off. Do you know what I mean? And he does seem like he knows himself. Do you know what I mean? He's very confident in himself and the way he handles himself. So it's very. I hate when people say, "Oh, it's Conor McGregor-esque." It's like Andre Philly did the millionaire's walk, they call it. They're like sort of the strut, and people are like, "Oh, he's just because Conor was outside the ring." But we'll get onto that fight later on. But it's just very it's just confidence, isn't it? Conor's made it his own, and he's the first breakthrough. And I don't know if there's been enough time now to have more breakthrough, and for it to be an English lad, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
cannot wait to see what he does next. Cannot wait to see where he takes this next fight. I know he had like a bit of stuff about who he's going to fight next, but I don't know. I honestly don't know where he could go with it. I don't know. Do you see anyone being a logical pick, or like do you throw him right at the top, or do you let him have another proven fight?
I think he needs a couple.
I think he can easily go top 10 in his next one.
I don't think you throw him in at the wall with the Wolves straight away. I mean, I know they have with Cerrone, but I think if you give him another couple, let him build that confidence. Not that he seems to be lacking it, but you know what I mean. And then see where he stands. I think he could be a real contender, but you can't go and chuck him in at Robbie Lawler now.
No. I think Mike Perry, if he wins that fight against whoever he's fighting, is probably perfect because he's a fucking mental case.
Hi.
Whoa.
What the fuck?
It's got a hide. There's a hide video button there, mate.
I think this is coming through our ears, but not onto the podcast, so you don't have to worry about it.
Fucking stupid.
We're just here in silence now.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
We're Who is
this guy and why is he reported on this?
Oh, no one can hear it. I'm trying to say. It's talent.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Who was it that Mike Perry's meant to be fighting? That's what I was trying to find out.
Began with a T. That's all I can remember. It might not have began with a T. But it's not long, I don't think. So it's feasible that...
That is Santiago Ponzinibbio.
No
loads of T's.
There's literally one T. It's in the middle of his face.
Yeah. These two, he called out Ponzinibbio, however you say his name, but then he's been matched up with Mike Perry.
Yeah.
And then Mike Perry was there. I don't know why he was there. Was that for the UFC's sort of like a, meet the fighters type thing?
Might even be a plant.
Yeah,
did Mike Perry start giving him shit after the fight?
Yeah, they had a bit of an altercation.
Jumped up to the cage, didn't they?
Yeah, where he was sort of interrupted Till's what would you call it? Like end of fight speech type interview type thing.
Call himself a real welterweight.
It's gonna be real interesting to see where he goes next. It's I don't know. It's hotting up.
Yeah.
Especially to see what happens if you beat someone like Cerrone, someone that's there. Cerrone didn't have to take that fight, did he? So it's, I don't know. It's all winning for Till, really. Isn't
He's got 3 on the bounce now. Cerrone's lost.
I know.
Is he the biggest welterweight as well in the top 10? I would say, but not tallest, but biggest.
He's crazy big.
He's a big lad. Because I know you've got some tall lads like Wonderboy and
but you
Neil
think
Magnet, but he's a big bastard.
Him fighting Tyrone, though. Tyrone's quite well built, but he's quite wide, broad, isn't he, Till? You see how, he was very drawn out when he made his weight.
Yeah. He's only going to be able to do that for so many more years. Because I know he was fighting when we seen him, he was at middleweight, wasn't he? Yeah. So he's only going to, and with him being only 24, it's probably on his side, but he's not going to be able to sustain that.
It doesn't want to be going anywhere near Woodley in the next couple of fights.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think it's a good fight for him?
I just think Woodley's a different animal with his athleticism, and he's a wily veteran as well now. He knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
He's not just he's clever, he's not just explosive and athletic.
I think there's a couple of people he needs to dodge, like Maya being one of them.
I don't know, I think he'd piece Maya up on the feet.
Oh, no, but we've seen it. We've seen the Masvidal fight, and Masvidal was, I don't know how crafty of a jiu-jitsu player Till is, but...
I don't know, how long did he spend...
Big enough to keep him away, isn't he? Where Maya's got the size on the majority of people he fights, so if he gets a hold of him, it's a big advantage to him.
Yeah. Maya's probably the biggest welterweight outside of Till. Because he fought Anderson Silva for the middleweight title. He's not a small guy, but I think he might piece him up on the feet, but if he gets dragged to the mat, I don't think there's anyone in the division really that hangs with him, is there? So
no,
that's obviously every fight's a risk for different reasons, but I think Masvidal will be a good fight for him.
Yeah,
be fun to watch at least.
Yeah, that would be a bit of and as well the build up, because Masvidal will engage in that, and it'd be quite interesting to see. Did you catch the other the GOAT fight as well?
Oh,
the self-proclaimed GOAT. You not seen this on the internet?
No.
Oh no. It's getting it's very funny. Like everyone's taking the mick out of Lobov because he's quite, he believes in himself. Obviously, he's got quite a support behind him, like a Conor type hype, but with no real end to it. So people
he's never done anything, has he?
No, so people are really big him up as the GOAT, and people hashtag GOAT for him and stuff like that on social media, but they just take the mick.
Is it like what's his name now? Nicholas Bentner.
Oh fuck, that annoys the shit out of me.
When everyone talks about Lord Bentner. When everyone
fuck
talks
me.
about him like he's... I've seen memes saying Lord Bentner has scored 3 goals in the Premier League. Lionel Messi hasn't. GOAT question mark.
Haters will say Bentner is Danish.
Yeah. How many
that was it.
How many goals has Messi scored for Denmark? 0. Bentner has 12. GOAT
haters say Messi's Argentinian.
But it was a very sort of I was trying to lead on to something that's been breaking out the news, but the fight, did you watch it?
I didn't
Philly
see the
versus Lobov fight. No, did you not see it either?
I to be honest, mate,
the way it played out anyway, there was Philly was very engaging, and I'm going to try to describe the whole fight to you, but it's very engaging in the first round, and the second they sort of had about half and half, but towards the end of the third round, for Philly to keep the points or whatever, he was up on points. He definitely won the first, may have scraped the second. He started throwing in takedowns. So maybe the 2 minutes to go or whatever, he was taking Lobov down and staying on top of him. Lobov didn't really have any sort of wrestle to get back up, which I don't know if that's an inherent problem with SPG. I'm not too sure, but I'm not trying to throw shade, just the whole people say Conor can't wrestle. But afterwards, Conor was obviously upset, and he tried to get across that Philly wasn't very engaging. So it's come out on social media that afterwards the cameras caught him, and UFC sort of cut all these clips so that people couldn't find them. But it was a camera following him out, and he I was to try and get the video, but he called Philly a faggot multiple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, and it's sort of blowing up on social media at the moment.
People are idiots.
Yeah, is that your take on it?
They're too fucking sensitive.
Well, the thing that...
That's the worst thing, getting shouted at fight We've stood up in the stands and shouted, "Kick her in the cunt" on several occasions.
Yeah, but it's more of a joke, innit?
Right, the thing is, for me,
he's not calling him gay, is it? Well, kind of, but not like in a. I don't matter.
Not like in a what?
Well, the thing is, most of the people doing all this shouting aren't from England or Ireland.
Right. Do you want to just listen to the clip before we...
Yeah.
Don't know if you can actually get it. You can definitely hear that squealing, though. There we go, full... Did you hear it then?
Yeah.
Sort of.
You're a faggot, Harry.
Right, I don't get it.
You don't get what?
Don't get the drama. Like over here and over in Ireland, faggot isn't used the same way it is in America.
Right.
Doesn't have the same context, and then you're expecting people in one of the most emotional moments for anyone. You know, your friend's just been beat.
He's
in
drunk
a fight.
as well. Like he is.
You've been drinking.
He is
your
drunk.
friend's just lost a fight. You're trying to console him, and you've got to talk to him how you normally talk. Now, you can't. It doesn't matter if he should say that in interviews or whatever. If it's public, that's not a public video. The back of the UFC locker room, taking his friend to see a doctor. He should be able to say whatever he wants at that point. Like, do you know? And it shouldn't be chucked all over the internet to begin with. I mean, it doesn't even. It doesn't even mean anything in this country. Everyone says it.
It shouldn't mean anything. There,
personally, I'm on the complete opposite side.
Really?
Why?
I feel like he's under right. So this is his job. Yeah. So let's just look at this from a different angle.
Well, he was a paid ticket holder at this night.
It doesn't matter.
That's not his job.
I could pay to get a train. I work on the railway.
Right.
I would do something equally as insulting to, it's very different. Like the customers of the UFC are people that watch and listen.
Right.
Yeah. They was just try and flip it round, and he's there. Do you know what I mean? He's seen not what he was doing around the cage. Maybe the UFC let him do that. It's fair enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm not gonna get upset about him dancing around the cage and shouting. I mean, Mark Goddard had his go at trying to restrain him and whatnot and tell him to sit down. None of you has watched the fight, so there's no context to it. But he was jumping around the cage, and Mark Goddard stopped the fight, stopped him whilst they were on the ground, and then told McGregor to act like,
right.
You know what I mean?
I
Act
knew
a
that
bit
happened.
better
I didn't know it was
and
during
sit
the
down.
fight.
Yeah, act more professional or something like that and sit down
during
the fight. Crazy. Never. I don't think that's ever happened in UFC.
No, but it's...
And so he's at his job, yeah, and it's an American-based audience. Do you know what I mean? It's very heavily American, even if it's not in America.
Right.
And this word, and these days, there's previous UFC fighters that have been told off for much less. I think Verdum himself got told off for saying that word.
Right.
Yeah. So, but people like with an English accent, let's say Bisping and stuff like that, they say stuff like that and sort of seem to get away with it. I think it just shouldn't. Maybe it shouldn't be punished, but it should be highlighted. He should probably apologise.
Do you say the word?
No, I'm not openly in day-to-day.
So you've never called any of us a faggot before?
Yeah, but that's with my friends in a closed environment.
I see what you're saying. In our vernacular, with us, in our friends...
Yeah, but I'd call you anything. I would literally say anything around you two, because I know that you two would not take it as...
But let's say Aaron...
So, if we're in the car and we're listening to some, deep grime, I may sing the N-word. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not proud of it, and I hope you two don't tell anyone. No, but that's not... You know what I mean? If I'm in the flow, I'm spitting bars, and you all look to me, I'm not even... You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stop and bleep it out myself. I'm not self-bleeping.
What I'm saying is, if you say these things, we all say these, in England especially, it's just part of vernacular. It's not... I've never
He is insinuating, right, and don't get me... Right, correct me in a minute if I'm wrong, but he's insinuating that Philly, for taking him down, for not engaging and fighting him in the final round, is homosexual.
No.
Yes.
No, because that's
Yes.
not how I've ever used that word.
Well, go on
To
then.
me, calling someone a faggot means they're being soft. It's never.
Soft for what reason?
I
though?
never knew it meant gay person until I found out like about America online.
But that's not a very good argument. I could turn around and say
It's like
I've
a
lived-
wimp. It's like a more offensive version
Yeah,
of
but
calling someone a wimp.
I could turn around, never tell my child what the N word means or what any sort of word means,
Right.
and then they use it, and then they just turn around and be like, "Well, I never knew what it meant." Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not privy to the. I just use it just because of the sound. I like
Right.
the way it sounds.
So
Faggot.
so
Like,
you're
it's not-
so you're telling me you've never said it to anyone,
I've said it.
right? And you
I've
still
also
you
said
still
that's
would.
gay. I've also said, "Oh, stop acting
Right.
homo," like to friends because they know the
He was
context
talking
of
to his
it.
friend,
Yeah, in front of the world.
but it wasn't, was
in
it?
front of the
It was
world.
in the back walking to the doctor.
He's in front of the world. The
Yeah,
cameras are
no,
always on.
I agree with you. In Conor McGregor's case, he is an employee of the UFC, and if other people have had, like Verdun,
Our friend
been
works
told
at
off for
Co-op.
that.
He can't walk around Co-op just voicing the word. Even if he's not working, even if he's just nipped in there for some bloody bread, he can't go around
Yeah.
going, "You're right, you're right, cunt. You're right, faggot. Give me that bread."
If
Do you know
I
what
went
mean?
on a train and twatted someone, I'd lose my job.
Right. If
Because
he-
you work under that banner,
the UFC
Yes.
are in control of all the cameras in that back room.
and that's why they deleted the tape.
Right. So how did it get out?
What? Because it's live, mate. We live in this day and age where things are put across the world straight away.
But why? To me, it's the UFC are asking for problems. If you film humans in like either the height of joy or the absolute despair of loss,
yeah,
right?
And I'm not saying
walking
that
through
you
the
should
back
get-
room, and you film them going to see a doctor, they're gonna say shit you don't want to hear. So don't put a fucking live camera on them when they're in the back. It's more their fault than Connor's fault, and it's not just because this is Connor. I'd say this for anybody. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. If he was stood there calling him he's a fucking bender, he's a fucking gay, he's a fucking faggot, and all that shit, right? I wouldn't be defending it.
no.
But what he said is he's being a faggot. Now, to me,
He said it about 4 times.
right, but I don't care if he said it 1,000 times. That to me, if you said to me, "Are we going for a beer tonight?" and then Az went, "Oh, I can't," and then you text me back saying Az isn't coming, he's being a faggot, I wouldn't go, "Oh, Az is out fucking sucking dicks." The first thing I'd think is Az doesn't want to come out, right? And I just think
As
that's.
could be out sucking dicks.
But that's just how we describe things in this country, and Ireland's the same. Very similar vernacular used over there.
Maybe more so in Ireland.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to get at that he was on camera. And he knows he's on camera
He's
constantly.
always on camera.
Yeah.
You should know that.
Maybe he
That's
just
the la-
needed to
that's
go
the-
through them curtains and then say it. And maybe console his
Well,
friend with that vernacular.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think there's worse things going on in the world than everyone getting angry at Connor.
Oh, people
But
got
if we
far
can't-
too angry about
Yeah,
it.
but if we can't...
And why is
If we
Scooby
can't-
Pitt being a fucking white knight now, trying to rescue people that don't care?
No, I wanted to just try and, highlight his point with...
I don't care about his point of view. It's pointless. Look at... I don't care. It's still bad in the UK. Fucking hell, you grew up in the normal
He
UK.
says it's just as ugly here.
Nobody.
Yeah, he just wants action taken, just
Right,
an
well,
apology.
I mean, if they just said to Connor, "Say sorry for saying faggot," and he moved on, it's fine.
Yeah, but
It's-
I think the people are upset that it's not been highlighted. It's not actually been addressed.
He wanted to remove it. It's like bleeping them out when they swear.
Yeah,
They don't want to show. They don't want to show it. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I don't think it's that bad.
In this day and age, though, I don't know. Maybe fighters don't go to the fight smash, but then we don't see that side of them, do we? We don't see Conor McGregor post-fight having an interview with a whiskey, slightly tipsy. Do you know what I mean?
Wealth gut.
Yeah.
Well, no, like that in his past interviews, and then we don't enjoy that side of them. But it's one way or another. And if they want to be a big sport, they have to start acting like a big sport. Do you know what I mean? We've
think-
seen the most
I don't-
ludicrous thing
I hope
happen
they
to
don't.
footballers in this country, where their whole social, personal
think-
lives are scrutinized because of the size of the sport and the meaning and the influence they have.
I actually think that's ruining football.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I
Maybe there's a happy balance
I
in the
go
middle.
to Old Trafford now, and I've only been going maybe 10 years from when it was like 17 maybe to sort of now. And the atmosphere's gone worse and worse, and it gets worse at every ground. It's not just Old Trafford. And the way they treat people's completely different now. Like they make people like telling people to sit down, and like the more mainstream sports become and the more popular they become and the more money that goes into them, the less they can get away with like that. But it's worse for the fans.
Football's a family sport now. They have to.
It's shit though now compared.
Otherwise, if you don't calm it down, you get dickheads running down to have fights with Leon players.
Oh yes.
Kids in the
Oh,
but look at right. Have you seen the Ajax thing doing the rounds?
What's that?
So Ajax aren't allowed to send fans to Feyenoord away,
yeah.
Right.
right? Because of the carnage, because of all the chaos. So Ajax turn up to the last training session before the Feyenoord game every year, before Feyenoord away, to support the team because they can't support them on match day.
Right.
So have a look at the fucking carnage at training. It's ridiculous. Just put training. There's a video of that final training session.
This one.
Yeah. It's only a 30-second video, I think. Something like that. It might be a longer one, but the one I seen was only a short clip.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, this new the new game.
For God's sake.
It's alright.
Yeah, we just muted it. So they're what? They're at the.
They go to the final training session before the away game with Feyenoord because they're not allowed to send fans to the Feyenoord game.
Just Feyenoord in general, or
Yeah.
is it like
Just Feyenoord because that's their biggest rivals, but they've banned away.
what did they do there to make?
I don't
them ban
think.
it?
I think Feyenoord fans are banned from going to Ajax away. I think it's just all the years of kicking off.
Yeah.
Oh, is this it? This is-
That's a training session. It looks like a City home game.
Yeah. It gets worse though. There's a point, mate, where there's flares. This isn't a good one. There's one, mate, with flares and the jumping. The whole stadium is there. You go. The whole stadium is jumping. Parts of this in a minute. If you like, zoom forward a bit. But the one I see, it's the whole ground's doing that. Like the whole training ground. With this is just before a fucking training session.
Just try and give them a bit of
A boost before they go to fucking go off to play Feyenoord. But there's a video where you can see the whole side of the pitch somewhere, but it doesn't matter anyway. They're fucking mad.
Do you think they've ruined it for themselves then in the way they acted, obviously?
But I think that's what makes football. If you don't have the tribalism in football, then why'd you care? At the end of the day, it's 22 blokes kicking a leather ball around a pitch. Well, fucking the only reason that anyone gets really excited about it, as much as you go, yeah, it's a beautiful game and that goal was ace and all that shit. Them goals are ace, but if you show me one of them videos where it's like some bloke and it's just clip after clip of people smashing 30-yard screamers, they get boring pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's the what the 30-yard screamer means.
I disagree. I think it used to be that way, but it's like, why do you watch the UFC? It's admiration for what they're doing in the cage. You're not even looking at the fans
but the
watching
fights
UFC.
that
That's the same reason I watch football.
But you do
It's
get
admiration
no,
for
no,
what
no,
they're
you
doing.
get
the fights you care about are the ones that mean the most.
You get instilled with that character, like
So-
when Conor McGregor fought Diaz first and second time,
And Floyd.
Well, maybe not as much
I
Floyd.
don't know, we
but-
all sat here though, didn't we?
Yeah, but I had butterflies in my stomach for that Diaz McGregor fight. That first fight, like the unknown, these two clashing of personalities. It was, I don't know, and people like get invested like that in football, and I can feel that. Like if you go like a United Liverpool match, or if you go, even if you just watch them on TV, the big rival, big hitting matches that mean stuff to your team. Yeah.
When we went United City,
But I don't think it animate me to go and cause trouble. But I guess
that's the bit where it provokes that too much. You can't trust people that fucking Neanderthals follow football. That's why I only disagree with that, because I've got a serious aversion to the way fucking a minority, but they ruin it for everyone. The way they behave at football.
But it
matches is
instills that in
fucking
people
stupid.
that don't even do it normally. Like I went when I was very young. I went to me and my brother went to a semi-final of the FA Cup in Cardiff versus Newcastle.
Yeah.
And we I went with my old man, and we were like kids or whatever, but he got drunk and he got like swept away with the tide
The
of
drama.
the day. Do you know what I mean? And the way that he was acting, and it was just. It wasn't a way I normally see him act, and it very made me think when I was a kid, like, this is a very different him. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe this is him with his friends, but maybe this is him like around football and just being that drunk lout sort of brash human being that's just like running into people, like bashing into people, asking them why they're bumping into him, and you know what I mean.
When I went to the FA Cup semi-final and Martial scored that winner against Everton, we were sat like 3 seats off the edge of the row at Wembley, so like we had one bloke next to us and then the aisle down to the pitch. When he scored that winner in like the 85th minute or whatever, I started sprinting down to the pitch, and if there hadn't have been that little net that they have at Wembley that stops you jumping over the board, I'd have ended up on the pitch, mate. And that's the only reason I didn't, because I seen that and thought I can't jump this and I had to slow down. But my head went like, that's what football does for you.
Bats running on top of heads trying to make the net.
I just wanted to go hug Martial, and like that's what it does for you. But if you take that away from football, I wouldn't watch it. If I had no investment in it, I wouldn't watch it. I even watch the shit games in the league, or like games that I haven't got United in, because they're investing in us somehow. Like if their results could affect us, I'm more arsed about watching it. If the other games, if it can't affect us, I'll never watch Stoke and West Brom.
I do get it. I just think it promotes so many. We've had like you get, obviously we've had tragedies at football matches because of the way fans behave, and you've had
that's that one saying that no one should go to the football.
I'm not
I'm not about that. Even just like people that get stabbed or beaten up, or the whole like.
But most of the lads that get beaten up wanted to fight the other lads anyway.
Yeah, but then when other people
they don't get normally a bunch of lads in fucking.
I just don't think anyone that has
Stone Island jackets looking for dads and lads with fucking United shirts on. They're normally looking for other lads dressed like them that want the same fucking thing. Yeah, like it's. I mean, I'm not saying that it's great having a scrap in the street.
That's the whole of a social thing that's going on. Maybe,
but that's what they're doing. They're not looking for lads with dads and the fucking kids and everything wearing half and half scarves.
No, but when you've been a kid,
they're looking for other blokes that dress
you
like
can't tell me you've never been to football and been like sort of, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like you've been on an away day, or you've been both and gone to a match that's, I know, held somewhere like Wembley, or somewhere where a match is staged where two teams have travelled in, and you've not seen an opposing, team's fans or whatever, and just sort of been a bit like, oh, this is a bit.
Yeah, I've been to hairy Nantwich games.
Hairy Nantwich.
That's part of the fun.
I was on my own as well.
I think that's part of the fun.
How is that part of the fun?
Because it's that nervous energy. It just adds to all the drama.
All right.
Like when
the
we
potential of being stabbed. Is
no. We
oh my god! I feel so alive.
I went Newcastle away with United, and we got up there, and one of the lads I went with drove, and we got up there.
I thought it was a nickname there.
No, years
drove
back.
His sound.
And we were like, right, we need a pub, and we're trying to find a pub, and we walked into one, it was just full of Newcastle fans, and they looked at us, and we were like, just back out the door slowly. And we just fucked off.
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave. We got out of there, then we went in this other pub, and then as we walked in, it was full of Newcastle fans again, but they didn't look as intimidated somehow. Next minute, but behind us, piled in like 150 United fans. I don't know where they were from or anything. We had no business. We didn't even know they were near us. Just piled in, started pulling Newcastle flags off the walls and putting United flags, stapling United flags to the walls and stuff. Then the pub went mental. All these Newcastle fans got kicked out, and we just stood there with a pint that we've just bought. Like, what the fuck's going on?
See, I think
then we ended up in a police escort to the ground to get into the ground because they caused all this chaos putting these flags in the windows.
Yeah,
but it was I wouldn't change that.
It was amazing terrorising that pub, that poor owner.
No, I didn't terrorise a pub, but it was just... I wanted
60-year-old landlord.
What do you call it when you stand by and let it happen? It's like...
Oh, yeah, because I'm going to stop 200 people putting flags on
No,
walls.
boys. This is a nice establishment. He supports Newcastle, and I'm okay with that.
I want you in that top knot with a long cloak on, standing on top of the bar. Can we all just get along?
Look, the thing is, that what made that night. If I hadn't been in that pub, and we went and won, and it was great anyway, but... Those moments make football. Like, mad stuff happens at football. And if you take that away from everyone just because you want them to sit down and buy more shirts at the fucking club store, it ruins it for everyone.
I'm conscious of us becoming a very sort of... but to bring it back, I I don't know what we can do about these personalities, and still trying to show the personality, but in a PC way. Do you know what I mean? Because you want to engage within teams, and you want to engage. No, but I don't know how it can be done.
It just upsets me.
So we're gonna have
It upsets
people.
me that we're fight fans talking about a sport where people kick shit out of each other, and we're thinking of ways to
that
be
people
PC,
can't say faggot.
but
Yeah.
with the ways that people
And Twitter blew up,
can't
mate.
be offended by other people's words.
Twitter
It's-
blew up. It's crazy.
it upsets
It is
me.
crazy.
It's almost like the pill you've got to swallow. We want, even though it makes no difference to us, we watch the fights anyway. We want the sport to grow. We want the sport to be massive. To
Yeah,
get
we want
bigger,
other
to-
people to see, like,
yeah, and that's not gonna nowadays. That's not gonna happen unless you abide by that shit.
yeah, and it's gonna end up being like, like football. It'll be very sort of toned down and very sort of.
No more hot dogs and beer.
No, but it's more people can't.
I can't even have a beer in the stadium at football. If it gets like that, I'll stop going to the UFC.
You
I'll
don't
find
go anywhere,
somewhere
mate.
else.
You and Josh won't be the same if you can't drink at the UFC. You both turning up with trays of fucking lager. I'm sat there with half a one and it's still my first. I've had more hot dogs than you've had pints, but whatever.
Oh, mate, you weren't even there in Sweden, mate. We had
I've
that.
seen the pictures.
We had
of
a
you, fuck
stand.
me.
We had a fucking pile of glasses. The plastic glasses piled up, and it was nearly as tall as chairs.
We tried Andy Hill tried doing that, didn't they?
In Vegas,
Vegas, yeah.
and they took him off him.
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
That one at Sweden was ridiculous. We missed meeting DC and fucking Brian Stan just so we could get to the bar quicker.
Yeah.
That's how mad that one was. But see, that's what I mean. Like, they're like football away days for us.
But they're not though, because then there's no
Wait,
there's
there
no.
was people fighting in the stands.
Was there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you remember when there was a fucking fight break out and that everyone's looking at it?
No, the
Yeah.
only one I can remember is in Dublin when that Scottish guy started kicking off because his
Oh,
friend in the
throwing beer
wheelchair couldn't
everywhere.
see the stadium.
There was-
the stadium, the ring, or the.
Yeah.
Well, there was a
octagon.
fight at the Bisbing one as well.
Oh, that's Manchester though, isn't it? Full of idiots.
Hey.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, all sports have it.
Yeah, I mean, you get a load of men in a room, you get them drunk, and they're watching fights. They're gonna think they can
Fuck getting
fight.
involved at a UFC event. You could potentially have 200 Joshes in the room.
You could have someone there that knows a thing or two, and then you
Yeah.
have a lot of people that talk. The
Talk
amount of people
big
you
game.
sit down next to at a UFC event and they're like, oh yeah, I used to do some kickboxing. And I must tell you, like at the start was one of them fucking absolute jebens.
Chez in a tap out shirt.
Oh, I've wrestled once or twice.
Yeah.
Chez, wait, you were one of them bellheads last time.
I can't remember.
We stood in a queue with some poor bloke. Were you chewing his ear
Oh, you were
off
very pissed.
for
I'll let you
fucking
off for this. You were
15
very
minutes?
pissed.
Yeah, but
About
when he
He was
annoying.
massive.
He was about 8 foot tall.
Was it?
He made me feel like as.
Where was
right?
it?
This guy was that big.
Is this wasn't in Vegas though?
No,
Where
this was
it?
Manchester?
Rotterdam.
Was
This.
it Rotterdam or
Yeah,
Bisbing?
yeah.
It was one of the two. And he was about
He
8
was
foot
huge,
tall, mate.
He was.
And you
You
were
remember him saying he
going
was
on
6'7". He said he was 6'7".
You were going on about fucking wrestling and like how you could strangle everyone and all this shit, but the queue just didn't. I'm stood there, right, and I don't cringe. I found it all funny, but if you were,
I was stood in front like that.
if you're a cringy person, you'd have been very cringy, right?
Oh,
and
God.
I'm stood there watching this queue, and it's thinking this queue's not going anywhere. The queue just wouldn't go quick enough, and this
Yeah,
guy.
I can't remember this.
You were
at all.
smashed. You two were smashed.
Rotterdam, I
You in
remember
particular.
No,
walking
it wasn't
to
Rotterdam.
I'm sorry, it was
It was
Manchester.
Bisbing.
Yeah, I was
It
going
was
to say
Bisbing.
it was Manchester.
Yeah,
I'd been out all day at the rugby, and I-
smashed at Bisping.
I wasn't
so
drinking
drunk.
either because I was driving back.
Oh god,
So I was like,
I was
fuck, there was a
terrible.
serious
Yeah,
contrast
well, it was
between me
that.
and you.
When we were hammered.
I was so drunk.
Yeah, that was when you were just chewing his
kept
ear
saying
off.
zero to-
Mate, I tell you what, by,
yeah.
by the time this guy got his pints,
kept
mate, his
saying it
ears
to
looked
him.
like yours.
Chewed him off that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he chewed them up that
0-2,
much,
I'm
his
gonna
ears
choke
looked
the
like
tall
yours
guy
by
out.
the end of it. Just
Well-
wouldn't leave the guy alone.
I can't preach then because I'm one of them people. Obviously.
That was. I thought. I don't know who's going to
What does it do to us then? What does it do to us? Does it make us like just go back to being primal, or is it just?
It's just tribalism at its finest. You pick a side and then you fucking watch it happen,
Yeah.
and if you're not happy with the result, they're the fucking problem.
And on
That's
that,
just how it is.
on that occasion, it was a wrestler versus Muay Thai guy.
Yeah, he was
6'7" Muay Thai guy.
6'7", his knee was nearly at your chin
I
already.
know, I think. I think the point I was trying to get across is that like obviously wrestling is
Was
superior.
superior.
to
That's exactly
stand-up,
what you were trying to
yeah.
get across. Yeah.
But you'd
And
have
maybe
had
it
to
was
climb up
animated.
him.
Maybe it was animated in that fact. I'm slightly embarrassed now. I can't. I'm
mate,
glad
it
I
was
can't.
funny.
I
remember
said I
it.
let you off. You were fucking rat-assed.
I can't remember it.
You were barely talking
was-
straight.
Do
You fell
things-
asleep.
Do things, yeah, and then I ended up waking up and coming over to you lot, and
Yeah.
everyone was asleep.
Yeah, Andy Hill
In between
sprawled
fights.
out like 6 seats.
We were bumping each other to get up in between fights.
Me
We
and Chess were
just
like, one of us was
fucked.
falling asleep and banging her head off the other one and waking ourselves back
I
up.
was like, Batch, you stay awake this time.
We'll do it in shifts.
We tried, we've
But
done,
that's it, though. You go.
we've done that before on your sofa as
When you
well.
go to
and
them
woke
events,
up sleeping
though-
next to each other, trying to stay up for UFC pace.
Sounds a bit.
Why are you talking
Sounds a
about
bit
that,
like we're the F word. Then Connor would say it.
You're a faggot, Josh.
I don't know. I'm not mad at him for it. I just feel like the UFC should make a point of it and say, Connor, you need to say sorry.
Maybe.
That's just me.
Maybe.
I agree. I don't think they
That's
publicly
just me.
scold him,
No.
but I think he just sent a tweet saying, "Oh, I'm sorry."
I hope he tweets Dana called him a faggot.
Stop being a faggot, you fucking faggot. When do we let him off the hook when do we chastise him for he's too involved in his bringing out his film and all this, and he's just got to fight Tony.
Yeah,
He's just got to fight
he's
Tony.
just got to fight Tony.
Did you like all the GTA type stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it made
Yeah.
me smile.
He won that battle as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
his was the most legit.
Well, how can he wrap off? He's just beat the next up and comer. Tony cemented himself. I mean, Kevin Lee did have staff and all that, but never mind. And
Never mind. He could have died, but never mind.
well, that's another thing, isn't it? Why did the UFC do all that shit? But
They said that because it wasn't exposed, then he wasn't a risk. But in those cases, you're a risk to yourself, aren't you? Because it's a cyst, isn't it, underneath your skin?
yeah, it's like
If
an
that
infection
burst-
of
if
the
that
skin.
burst,
yeah.
you're
Person
potentially-
goes into your blood, it can kill
You
you.
get septicemia.
Oh,
and
yeah.
die.
Yeah, the UFC told DC as well not to talk about it, which is very sort of like
Shift day.
And then Joe Rogan just comes on and he's got staff. Why has he got staff?
DC's like, yeah, he got stay.
I'm glad you said it, Joe.
Oh, was it you? I thought it was just
I
me.
love how Joe Rogan, they just don't tell him what he can and can't say because it doesn't work.
Don't
like
want to
that.
try and let on to him, do they?
No.
Well, they can't get away with it. I don't think with Joe Rogan. He'd just leave, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
If
he's
they
on the
started
verge.
sen-
He's like he was umming and ahhing whether or not to leave last
If
time.
they just
wasn't
started censoring him and telling him what he could and couldn't say, he just would walk out and it'd freak him out.
Oh no, there's no way they could censor him.
he?
But
That's another thing I disagree with Ariel Helwani on. It would be different without him. That's the power he's got.
Yeah.
The cult following that he brings to the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, it's more. I think he could break away and do his own,
Promotion.
fight companion type thing, and just companion all fights or all the big fights, and people would. I think there's going to be a day and age where you can watch a show and you can listen to a different thing at the same time. I mean, we're there. All you've got to do is have two things on at once, but it's soon going to come. Like, why wouldn't you have football where you could have three people that you respect that maybe listen to their podcast, and then we sit down and talk about, sit down and talk about the game or something. But no, like podcasts that are about football, like an initial fan cast sort of type thing, but promoted it by itself.
There's some successful. There's a really good Liverpool one. I'm not even a Liverpool fan, but it's 3 journalists, respected guys, respected journalists.
Yeah, and you don't want to listen to the same sort of, fucking Michael Owen telling you that if he scores, then they'll win.
That guy.
I'd love to
If they
listen
score
to
a goal, then they'll win.
I'd love to listen to Carragher and Neville if they just
Uncensored with a couple of beers.
on EAP.
Yeah.
imagine
Come.
imagine Carragher and Neville though uncensored in a pub.
Yeah.
Just the two of them sat in a pub, like, but
How mank and how scouse would each other get? They won't be able to understand each
just
other.
mic'd up and arguing about
Scholes
football.
Yeah, it'd be
is
awesome.
the greatest of all time.
You'd imagine just like someone scoring it, just going berserk. It's just, I think things have got to get more entertaining, and obviously things have to buy because people vote with their eyes and their
I
ears.
think we're going to hit a pinnacle of this PC bullshit soon. It's
Yeah.
going to get to the point where people just can't be arsed with it anymore.
Like when they got rid of Andy Gray, because what did he do?
He
Said
was a
something
little
off air.
bit Harvey Weinstein-ish though, wasn't he?
But isn't every
Hey,
guy
let me take my pants off.
on that sort of thing? Like they're off air. They're mostly taking the edge off the day by just talking a bit of trash.
Suppose that was meant to be set up apparently because he was such a dirtbag. They did it on purpose to him.
Really?
Yeah, because he did it so much and people didn't like
Let's
it.
get you a tinfoil hat.
I heard that as well. though.
On the grapevine.
That Weinstein thing's bad, isn't it?
It's
At first, I read it right.
Disgusting.
At first, when I started,
It's becoming a trend. I can't wait to see which other girls.
Just
cover it.
think
I'd
how
just
many
be like,
girls that you'd give £1 million to shag that he's already done it and he looks like that.
I know.
What
He's
got-
got away with this for quite a while.
what got me
all
was
the girls that aren't coming out that are saying, "Yeah, I sucked his dick." None of them have done that. They've all been, "Oh, I left. I was escorted out by Weinstein." You know, like he
Yeah.
chased him
I
out with a
can't wait.
broom. Like, "Get out, you filthy whore!
It's gonna
You
happen.
won't take my money.
It's gonna happen. Some at
Don't
some
breathe my
point,
air."
Margot Robbie's gonna be like crying on the mat. I licked his asshole. Getting really upset about
what
They're gonna be on Oprah and come out.
what
Yes, I
um,
can't wait for that first one. I cannot wait.
what gets me about it. At first, I thought it was just like because I'm so annoyed by all this PC bullshit. I thought it was just people, and it was just like it was going to come out that he'd been flirting with people and failing,
Yeah,
and they've all decided to band up and tell him off now.
yeah.
And then the
Stop
more
it, filthy pest.
yeah,
Filthy
Like they've
pest.
been in the toilets powdering their nose, and one of them's gone, "Weinstein sort of came on," and she's like, "I know what you
Came on to
mean.
me,
He tried to finger me."
but when the more that's come out, the more fucking gross he is. Like, do you know what I mean?
Like
Like,
sleazy.
at first, I was thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, they're just going to hammer this poor bloke who's probably just tried it on with a few of them because he's single and got a lot of money.
Yeah,
He thinks he can
sees
get,
if
but
it'll work.
But it wasn't like that at all. So my original
single.
assumptions were wrong.
Dude's fucking married
Yeah, but
to a
Yeah,
very
but-
young lady.
How much money do you have to have until you're not married, but you are?
A lot.
at what point? No. At what point does like your money
This
out?
thing start becoming fluid.
Look at
You
Rooney.
start being able to push
Look
the
at Rooney.
boundaries.
Rooney
Yeah.
pushes them boundaries all the time. He's fucked a
He pushed him,
granny.
he really tests himself. He pushes him in weird ways.
He checks some
He's
fucking.
giving back to the elderly community.
He must be able to talk himself out of some situations.
Surely he could have put that down as he'd already done community service.
Why is he driving a Beetle? I just don't get it.
All
Just
the money he's
call.
on. Why didn't he just get a cab? Like,
Yes, this is West Side Taxi. Yeah, I can't do a Scouse accent. I need a taxi. I need someone that's not going to say anything, and I'll pay them an untold amount of money to come get. And then I need another guy to drive her car as well, because she won't leave without a car, and I just need to put my dick in her.
yeah.
Boop.
Sound. 5 minutes, mate. You're not the first tonight.
But no,
We just had Jamie Carragher do the same
Jamie
thing.
Carragher and Gerard.
but no, it's I'm
Going
gonna.
two's up, fucking dirty bastards.
But it's no, I'm going to jump in there and try and drive it. And oh look, Nino, here I'm fucked again on the front page of every newspaper.
Yeah.
And Clean comes out and's like, "He's the father of me kids,
And I'm really rich off the back of him being able to kick a ball.
and I'm going to be able to ride this now for ages." Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm going to be in okay every week
I'm
again.
getting all the presents.
Them shoes, got them. Parada collection, completed it, mate. Wayne, where's your credit card? But it's a shame because he's in the eye. I don't know. Maybe Steve down the pub, if he did the same thing, his missus wouldn't have as much leverage, and the world wouldn't know about it because he'd just get, just a slap on the wrist, and the world wouldn't know about it. But it is what it is. It's this day and age, and fighters are going to go that way, and it's already gone that way. And Weinstein's going to get chastised, and Mussolini's going to get burnt at the stake.
They
But,
reckon
I
there's
mean,
a
we're
big
just all gonna
paedophile
watch
ring
and
in
pay.
Hollywood, don't they?
I mean, there's a big paedophile ring. Supposedly, they're everywhere. I mean, they're in Parliament.
They're like
they're in all the
rats.
places you wouldn't think they would be.
Like
Do you know what I
rats,
mean? Like,
you're
you
never
say-
more than 10 feet away from a paedophile.
And he starts suspecting churches. Yeah, I didn't think they'd be there. Parliament, the people that run the country, didn't think they'd be there.
You're joking.
Kids TV presenters.
Yeah,
No,
the-
they're at it.
Stop.
The
Kids TV, no.
The one place that entertains us all, didn't think it'd be there. It's like, fuck me. Disney's got. They must be.
Disney have got some skeletons in their
Yeah,
fucking
they must be
basement.
shutting shit down.
Yeah, they killed everyone they touched. They killed. They've not been done for shit.
That kid that got fed to the crocodiles was not an accident.
god, that!
Oh dear.
Oh dear, he got eaten.
He got eaten.
He can't say that. He got eaten.
Said it wasn't an accident.
Dear.
Mickey
Mickey
had 3 fingers on that. His big fucking daft hand.
Mickey touched him. We gonna get some gators on him.
Throw him to the Gators.
Ate him.
Like a really bad Bond villain. Just throw everyone to the gators.
He's just
kid.
Steve in a Mickey costume, but he's just like dictating like he is the Mickey. No, it's all getting a bit It's all getting a bit funny, isn't it? But there's nothing we can just sit back and laugh.
I think this is the coming of the apocalypse that we've been waiting for.
What, Weinstein?
We don't know everything.
Weinstein's head's going to open up and fucking...
Wayne Rooney drink driving. It's
or just another normal week in the news.
Horsemen.
It's just, I think it's going to get to a point where everything's public and people are just going to realise how dirty and weird all their neighbours are. Do you know what I mean? You're just going to be able to see
Pedo got arrested in Crewe the other day.
Steve's putting,
It happens every day.
It happens everywhere.
In Crewe.
I mean, to the point where they have it frustrates me. They have set up Facebook groups of people like them fucking bums that go around talking to guys, acting like they're kids, to get them, to bring them in, to video them, to try and take them to court, to fail. Like, it's like, this guy went to meet like a minor. Do you know what I mean? And these guys caught him and videoed him, and he's still able to go to court. He's able to employ someone that was more educated than me, that was more educated than anyone else in this room, take them with him to this place where they decide what happens to him and sort of battle back these, you talk to a kid like this, look, I can show you. No, he didn't, sir. I object. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what? What sort of world are we living in? Like, this guy was caught. It was on WhatsApp. That shit's encrypted. He knew. He thought he was getting some young pussy. But no, he's ended up here in front of us lot, and this judge is here saying, I don't quite believe you guys. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking mental. And the police don't do stuff like this. I mean, we haven't gotten... Does
it not count as entrapment?
Yeah, it does.
But we have... Oh, yeah, I guess.
Because he has...
Yeah, so there's a point where we have to self-police
There's
ourselves.
also the thing of, technically, he hasn't spoken to a minor.
No.
So even if he was... You've told him loads of times, I'm 13.
Yeah.
You're still fucking Jeff from a bloke, like a 45-year-old bloke called Jeff.
There needs to be, like, actual concern that he's going to do this again to another child.
There's always the case where this guy could say, I knew it was a bloke. I was having
him on for a laugh.
Yeah, I was having him for a laugh. And then at what point...
sending dick pics.
Yeah, but at what point can you fucking prove... I mean, I don't believe them when they make up these accusations, but in a court of law... You can't really prove what was going on in someone's head. No. And at the end of the day, realistically, they were talking to a fucking 45-year-old bloke, not a child. So it's a weird one for the judge, because what do you prosecute them for? Thinking that they were talking to a kid? Like, I'm not saying that you're saying, I'm not saying that they're not fucking scumbags, because they probably... I'd say... 99% of them, 99.9%,
that very point,
because they think they're talking to a kid. Yeah. But at the same time, there's probably 0.0001% of them that were like, fucking hell, some lad's winding me up here, and fucking had a look, like, well, let's go see which dickhead's doing this, thinking it's his mates, or thinking it's someone fucking else.
I think it's more when the... I mean, it's sickening, and obviously people that have and
fucking shoot them, pedos. They've got no time for it, but it's hard for a judge to prosecute someone for not doing something, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because they haven't actually spoken to a kid.
There's not there's not really much we could do about sit and talk about it, unless we want to start our own like paedophile hunter type situation. But
you'd have to get a kid to do it. Then you can do them.
But that's squirrely, because you're fucking putting a kid and exposing them to some weird shit.
You only expose them to fucking...
No one's going to be like, yeah, okay, take Daisy out for a while.
15-year-olds know what the fuck's going on, no? You can just get some 15-year-old kid that knows what the fuck's up to just send some text messages, get him to say something bad.
A big one as well, like a 6 foot.
Yeah, but then they don't have to go, then you go. Kelly and stuff. And
then he's got you, then they're in a cult. People are locked in closets. All sorts of going on.
Getting pissed on.
I was waiting for that.
I resisted.
I like the last 20 minutes, the only thing he's got is getting pissed on. But yeah, it's fucking funny and weird and demoralising and all them emotions, and that's why we stay tuned into it. I mean, this Weinstein thing, I'm sort of like... Yeah, that stuff was happening, and this guy's been found out. But I'm sure there's many more of them. I'm sure there's many other
the only guy
backroom casting couch type situations. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you've seen all them ones. That guy that got prosecuted for having a fake fucking porn audition thing, and he managed to bang like a certain percentage of all the women he auditioned, and he didn't even have a porn studio or nothing. He just auditioned girls to be in porn. It was like, nah, you're not up to the job. Roll in the next girl. Do you know what I mean? And then he spaff over her tits.
Drinking protein shakes.
Exactly. trying to keep up with the load. He's
Yeah.
also like, fuck, this thing's blowing up.
We need more output.
I better start a porn company. And then he got caught. But it's just going to happen everywhere, isn't it? When someone wants something and someone's got the money to give it to them and they can sort of try and leverage it, he's only doing it because he's succeeded that number of times.
If he'd have failed the first 10 times he tried that, he'd have
Yeah.
gone for a new trick.
He's not trying again and again, is he? He must be, what was it? Spanish flying them. Like, what's his name was? Good old, the comedian.
Oh, Crosby.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby.
But
That was Morgan Freeman.
No, it was not. He is Morgan Freeman. Thank you for listening.
But yeah, cheers for listening. This has been the Educated Apes podcast. I feel like we've covered a lot of points. We've gone very around the houses, but that's very us. So
Yeah. You did say we talked shit at the start.
We did.
we lived up to that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. This has been the Educated Apes podcast. Get us at Educated Apes on Twitter, educatedapes.com, one word on Instagram. That is getting lit, fam. www.educatedapes.com on the interweb.
Big in the game.
And yeah, get all of us on our individual Twitters. Hit me up at Josh Ches. Bloody hell.
Aaron Gray, EAP, committing to the cause.
You committed that far?
Because he didn't have a Twitter until he joined us. That's the
Oh,
only
I did,
reason.
I did, I just didn't use it.
Yeah, no, cheers. Thanks for watching / listening. Loving all the input you're giving.
Peace.
Oh dear. On a sly note, yeah, big up to Extreme Bean Coffee. Big up to P-Bell Fitness. It's a shame for Shent that he didn't get his fight the other day. I'm sure he'll be able to train up and get another one very soon. And big up to all our supporters, listeners, everyone. If you could give us a sly review on Instagram, that would help us tremendously. Aaron would appreciate that greatly. Yeah, we're out. Peace.